resources in higher education, as I said, when we think about resources, I gave like 5 areas, although there could be more. Number 1, I talked about instructional and curriculum resources. I talked about human resources, and in human resources I divided them into 3. I talked about the students, I talked about the staff, and I also talked about the faculty, you know, there's the ones who are teaching, there's those ones in administration, and also forth. And I also talked about infrastructural resources, very, very important also to think about that. I also talked about the community as a resource. Very important to think about what is it that, you know, the community should be looked in as a resource. We also talked about financial resources, and that is important. And what are we saying? Resources needs in higher education include staff, equipment, and materials. This is actually what I've just talked about, the 5. The role of higher education, and this one, as I have said, maybe another thing that I always talk about when I talk about resource, and this is very important to me, is what I refer to as the front office. The front office resource is such a resource, because when you think about the front office resource, the first person you meet once you go in is the front office. How well are they doing to make sure that the management of the university is effective? The role of education provides access to learning and fulfillment of human potential. That is what we talked about. Anytime you go to a university, there's what you just need. There's the fulfillment. There's also the human potential. What is it in you that you want to become good at? It is also to equip people to contribute to socio-economic life of the society. Honestly, if you go through the university and you find again there's nothing you can do for the society, there's no problem you can solve, there's nothing you can contribute in, then there's a huge problem. Addressing human resource needs, okay, that one is more like the other one. Provide the labor market with a higher level competence. I like that. That's the higher level competence. That the labor market is looking for somebody who is highly competent. Highly competent. And this is why we are saying it becomes a problem when, you know, the product that maybe the universities are giving and everybody is questioning, you know, the words like half-baked. You know that you find that some bucks, they don't even care. As long as you have completed for the first degree, they don't care whether you did business, whether you did banking, whatever it is, because they still feel we need to train our output again because they did not get what is good enough. That is a challenge that actually requires to be addressed. Then laying the foundations of critical civil servants, the production and dissemination of knowledge through research. Awesome, awesome. There's so much that is going on, and it's the work of the higher education to carry out this research, to see what could be affecting these people, and at the end of the day, disseminate the findings with some conclusions and recommendations, but as well as listen to the people that you have carried research on to see exactly whether that is what needs to be done. Addressing the pressing needs of the society. Currently we have the COVID, we have the COVID-19, insecurity issues are there, we have other emerging issues, and it's upon us to make sure that the education we are giving can address these things. Objectives focusing on transformation of higher education, establishing a national integrated coordinated, this is very good, establishing a national integrated coordinated higher education system where we have, you know, it's a national, it's coordinated, that whatever you are teaching is so well coordinated, and we have a system that ensures that. And actually in Kenya we have the CUE, Commission for University Education, which ensures that some of these things are taken care of. Increasing the broadening participation in higher education. Participation can come up actually in maybe in research, can come up in the seminars, can come up in workshops, can come up in conferences, can come up in partnership, and so forth. Improving state steering, that one, okay. Then challenges, again, they're here. Scarce skills, we have talked about all these, but I would like you to pay attention to number 2, poor state of basic education. And because we are saying we are actually receiving our feeders are from the basic, then we are saying if the education is not good enough at the basic level, then there will be a problem. Then we have also talked about the poor access of funding, inadequacy of infrastructure at the institution, inefficient funding model. We go to topic 4. Topic 4, here we have governance in higher education. And when we talk about governance in higher education, it refers to the means by which higher education institutions are formally organized and managed. And this is why I said I am going to give you an assignment. This is, remember, I talked about giving you an assignment at this level. And we have at 2 levels, and we are saying that we have internal structure and also we have the external structures. For example, with the external structures, we are talking about other bodies out there that actually dictates how the university can be governed. Then we also have the internal structures. The external structures, think about the chancellor, think about the VC, think about the DVC, think about the other management levels, think about the deans, think about all these. And we are saying it is important that we look what are their roles. And therefore, it's good that you listen to this question that I would like, as I said, you come up with an examples of these structures and what at what level, which, for example, is the work of the Senate. What do they do? What is the work of the BOM, Board of Management? What do they do? At what level do they come in? And maybe this would be, well, we'll discuss more, and I expect that we'll be discussing more, especially when we go online. So for each one of us, maybe this one could be also what I'll be giving in your cards, that I would expect us to come maybe with 2 to show how well we understand the same. The same goes down. You can see it is still the whole thing. And we have the case of, we have different cases here. Remember, we said it's about Africa, and have given a case of South Africa, how it is actually governed. And it's just good to look at these bodies. You can see, for example, here, all the universities work with statutory bodies that include the Senate, the Syndicate, Academic Council, Board of Advanced Studies, Department Boards of Study, Financing and Planning Committees, and Selection Board. So all this is exactly what I'm talking about. If you're able to come up with 2 examples, a public and private, and in each we say at what point do they come in and what do they do, that will be very helpful for us to discuss. So, as I said during our course outline, centralization and democratization of higher education. The system of education is profound democratic. Very democratic. It is open to general methods, form and curriculum. You find that we are, very democratic. That you are not very quite pinned down on the maybe the units that you'll have, how you deliver, how you do things. It's a bit democratic. Students and teachers approach the materials differently. And this is true. I may not even just have to say that. Others online, others, we very differently. There's diversity of viewpoints in the populace at large. You don't have to conform. You can always say what you think that can be done. Advent of uncontrolled online education, which is profound threat, depending on how it is done. But if it is conducted very well, then it becomes a very good high platform, like the way we are doing there. Therefore, the existence of democratic society that our country has ever faced. So we are talking about all these, that these are some of the indicators that universities are very democratic. We have all these rights to do things. We can do things the way we want. And actually, I have been able to give the differences here. I might not remember when I talked about centralization, I said, we have a center on where everything comes from. And I said there is no way that we can have a fully democratic kind of a university and that does not have centralization. At a point, there are some policies, there are some things that you'll find that they fall under centralization, and others you can talk about decentralization of issues. So we can have centralization where things come from the same point, decentralization where actually, there are different areas of operations. We don't have to receive the content from this or directions from the same point. I may not want to discuss this because these are areas that we can be able to discuss and see. Of course, we understand sometimes, because even in education, even in the very levels that we know, we also know that there is levels of centralization and decentralization. So we may not actually need to talk about this a lot. Higher education and financing. higher education and financing. And when we look at higher education and financing, we are looking at in the fiscal year 1996, higher education expenditure was more than all the dollars that you can see, 190.4 billion. Higher education expenditure fall into two general categories. Very important to understand this. Capital outlay, I believe that you understand these are land, building, equipments, and so forth. Annual operating expenses, we also understand these are issues to do with education and general expenses, auxiliary enterprises, and so forth. And then we can also talk about the source of revenue. I've been able to give you one from the US. Where do they get their revenue from? I have given a few there. Federal support, state support, tuition from the support, largely support, sales of services, private giving, endowment, and other support. Financing, an economic theory, and this is something that I want us to understand, that when we talk about financing in higher education, there's this economic theory that we should not look at the university as, I would like to read that statement that is important, that the myth that all universities are identical and should therefore be funded equally is no longer sustainable. And this one we understand that different universities actually do different kind of courses, and we find that in those kind of courses, in those kind of orientations, in those kind of disciplines, there are some that may require more, and it will not be fair when we just think that they should be funded the equal way. So economic theory states that the consumer should fund the system. As you said, that if you are the student here and you're the one who is consuming the services of higher education, then you should be funding for yourself. Thus, while the government funds HE, students should contribute to the cost of their degree. And this is true. And this is true. That if you want to, remember we said about that education will bring development and also it will bring out your self-potential. And this is what we are saying, that however much we are saying the government should be funding the higher education, it's also upon us to make sure that we are also able to fund. Then based on this, the government supports students through the well-designed students loans, characterized by, of course, we have all those that we have talked about. And actually, when we think about these loans, the first thing that maybe comes to our mind is the help, especially in Kenya. And we think about the help, and maybe we'll be talking about how if you don't pay, there's the interest that is accrued. We also can talk about how some people actually feel that they should not be paying these loans. How about they delay others? Also how we find that even some of these fundings that they are meant for the low-income students, the mid-low income levels, they also find their ways in how to get this money. So trade in financing Kenya students, financing of Kenya students in higher education started in 1952 under the Higher Education Loans Funds, HELF, by colonial government. So it's not about yesterday, you can see it's 1952. It was changed to the university loan schemes, okay? Then later taken over by the HELB. Okay, then HELB means Higher Education Loans Board. HELB was established by an Act of Parliament, Cap 213A of 1995, which mandates, with the mandate of sourcing for funds, so it's supposed to source for funds, allocating a disbursement to needy, look at that, needy Kenyans pursuing higher education. It also has the mandate to recovering all mature loans disbursed since 1974. And this is where we are saying that we have a problem. That actually some people are, even now, they just think that they are not supposed to be honestly paying for this loan. This is, it's not even something that we should be discussing. Then economic, So economic theory, resorting strategy in financing. One of the things that we have is deferred variable fees. Giving loans, but sometimes collecting fees is a problem. Income contingent loans, it can bring interest, that sometimes guys are not ready to pay the interest, or it can be too much. Active measures to promote access. Also, the sustainability of the same sometimes becomes a problem. And these are some of the challenges that we are talking about. Unstable public spending. Okay, sometimes the education is allocated this much, then the next time is allocated a different amount. Public spending that is hijacked by the middle class. this is true, that you find that there are some people who can go around things. They know how to cheat, they know how to cheat. And finally, they are so corrupt that they take what is supposed to be for the needy students, loan absent or badly designed, so that they bring in few, if any, extra resources. You find that maybe these sources of funding, like the help, is faced by different issues that they are not able even to look for more money, which is one of their mandate. Economic constraints on university, which reduce incentives for efficiency and specific designs features that are costly. So sometimes you find that there are economic constraints, like now we are going through a recess, economic recess, that actually is also going to affect the university, and this can affect us. Topic 7 is about, again, as I said, university management. And as I said, management can be defined as the process of administering and controlling the affairs of the organization. You can see that I have tried to bring this topic one more time. And as I said, we have different styles. We have the scientific, we have the process approach, and all this. And I believe that you have been able to do this, and maybe sometimes when I even divide them into two, the management theories, I like looking at them as scientific theories and also human relation theories. And we can see that we have those ones scientific, it's about doing the work, they look people as machines, and sometimes it's like that. You are given the work that you are supposed to do. Nobody would really want to understand about many things about you, what it is that you have, what you are supposed to do. They are the goals that you have been given, and this is, you are paid, paid according to what you have been able to do, which is okay. Then the process approach, or what we are simply also talking about, the process approach, or maybe we can even look at it, the others, we can look at those ones that have the human relations, that brings in the task as well as a human face. So again, we have the courses that are supposed to be done. I don't think I want to go to all these. These are things that we can be able to discuss about the management, because I talked about it very early enough. You can see I had also talked about the internal university management, where we talked about all this area. We also talked about who heads the university, okay, what is the work of the chancellor when we find them there, what is the work of the senate, and this is the assignment actually I gave, and I'll be giving more materials on the same. In fact, I've given you a very good structure, administrative structure of the university. Go through it, but what I want you to do, you can see what I have given. The university council is there, the senate is there, the boards, the faculty, and all that. We have the vice chancellor on this side of the academics. We have the DVCs all the way down. But maybe what I would like you to do, okay, is to state in each what are their duties, what are they supposed to do. Then that one will be okay. Duties and responsibilities. So, having said that, I think we have the very last discussion questions. As I said, discuss the nature of centralization of HE. HE, as you have said, is higher education in Kenya today, and then also explain the nature, that is not he, the nature of financing higher education in Kenya today. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much again. Please let us interact online. This is very, very important. A lot of materials will be sent to your online portal. Make sure you keep on checking. Otherwise, thank you very much for listening. Thank you again. Keep safe. Stay at home.
These televised lectures supplement our robust online learning going on our MKU online platform. You can view more on our televised lectures via our online platform. We are in a digital era, and Mount Kenya University knows this. The following are the steps to follow so as to complete your online application. Download the application form from the website www.mku.ac.ke. Attach copies of your academic certificates and ID. Pay the application fees via M-Pesa pay bill number 270988. Your ID is the account number. 2,000 shillings is the charge for a postgraduate. You can also deposit in the bank accounts provided on the website. Then email all the above to apply@mku.ac.ke.